Welcome back to the City Current Radio Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're honored to dive into our next topic, which is the Alzheimer's Association and the Walk to End Alzheimer's. We're joined by three lovely ladies. We have Amy LaGrant. She's the chair for the Walk to End Alzheimer's Nashville. Also, Ashley Briggs, who's the co-chair, and Tonya Brown, who's the mission chair, all talking about Walk to End Alzheimer's Nashville. So how are you three lovely ladies doing?
Fantastic.
Doing wonderful.
Well, let's go ahead and dive in. Amy, let's start with you. We're going to ask all three of you and get to know you personally, how you got involved. But Amy, let's start with you. Give us a little bit of your storyline in terms of how you got involved with Alzheimer's Association.
Great. Well, thank you for having me. Well, I have actually a personal connection to the Alzheimer's disease. I am a third generation. My dad and my grandfather both suffered from Lewy body dementia. And I served as kind of the main caregiver for my father as he suffered. And unfortunately, I actually lost him to dementia and COVID right before Christmas of 2020. So I have a really strong desire to continue his legacy through 2021, and am glad to serve as our 2021 walk chair this year and continue his legacy.
When you talk about the Alzheimer's Association, give us an overview of the mission and the purpose. Let's start there for the organization. So give us the mission and purpose.
The mission and purpose and the vision of the Alzheimer's Association is really to try to find that first survivor, but we're representing about 6 million people who are suffering with dementia in the US, and about 120,000 of those are Tennesseans. That would actually allow us to be able to fill up Nissan Stadium twice. So it's a huge problem for our United States and also here locally here in Tennessee. It is the 6th leading death among people who live in Tennessee. And there are about 375,000 unpaid caregivers who are caring for somebody with dementia here in Tennessee. We are the largest nonprofit organization funding the research around this disease. We are funding about 208 million for Alzheimer's and dementia. So the organization is really about funding and advocating and supporting all of those things around Alzheimer's and dementia.
Give us a little of the differentiation between Alzheimer's, dementia, because you hear those terms, but describe them a little bit.
So dementia is kind of the high level from perspective. So Alzheimer's sits under dementias, and there's many different types of dementias. There's Alzheimer's, Lewy bodies dementia, which is what my father suffered from. Boxer syndrome, many different levels of what is a dementia. So Alzheimer's is actually the most prevalent form of dementia. So that's where we kind of focus there.
Give me one thing before we switch over. Give me one thing that you wish everyone knew, especially for you having a personal experience with this. What's something that you wish everyone knew in terms of the impact that it has, not just for the loved one, but for you as the whole family?
What do I wish everybody knew? Unfortunately, I don't think dementia has a linear path. I think the experience around dementia is very different from everyone. A caregiving experience is unique to everyone. The dementia experience is unique. I think that's one of the biggest challenges around finding a cure, because it doesn't have an algorithm. It doesn't have this very linear path. And so everybody's experience is different, and how it affects people is so different. So I think the thing I would tell everybody is just try to have some grace and patience with anybody who's caring for someone, and then anybody who's suffering from it, because it's so different in so many different ways. So, and I know my fellow Ashley and Tanya can also, because their story is so different from mine. So they can share a completely unique experience as well. So
yeah. Well, let's take that opportunity and let's switch it over to Ashley Briggs, co-chair. And so Ashley, give us a little bit of your personal storyline.
All right. So mine's a little different in that I began working in senior living before I had a personal connection. I started working with a group of individuals that were in early stage dementia back in 2007, creating specialized programs for them. And as happens to so many people. I mean, they say there's 1 in 3 people as a dementia caregiver is true. I have a grandfather and his girlfriend that are now they're living together in their home still, but we're talking about next processes. They have been both diagnosed with dementia in the last few years. So my career path had taken me that way, but finding that personal connection as well and seeing the struggles that our family and the family of those that I care for have gone through to get resources is what made me really delve into the association.
Yeah. And speaking of resources, talk about on your end for Alzheimer's Association, the 24-hour hotline and support groups.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's an amazing hotline available 24/7. There is no close time, even holidays. The number is 1-800-272-3900. It's actually manned by master's level clinicians that can help you in real time with crisis situations or things like sundowning, which is kind of usually later day, increased confusion, how to handle agitation. And then they can help connect caregivers to local level doctors and resources that are in your neighborhood. And it's actually available in over 200 languages as well.
Wow. And then dive in a little deeper on the support groups and some of those nuances.
Yes. So the association has support groups across the country. Right now, our support groups for safety purposes are all virtual, which is fantastic because you can be in your home and connect with other caregivers. So I've been a support group facilitator for close to 9 years now with the association. But there are support groups for those that are living with dementia, early stage support groups for spouses. So there is a support group that can meet the caregiver kind of where they're at.
A big part of what you do is community education, and this kind of falls under that umbrella a little bit, but talk about community education.
Yes, so the support group helps provide some education as well, but the association has very specific training available for people of all walks of life. So again, right now they are virtual, but they're offered every month. Speakers from across the state are connecting with caregivers through these, covering everything from understanding Alzheimer's and dementia, that question you asked earlier, what's that difference? All the way to how to handle challenging behaviors, elder law information. So a lot of really great free information that can be found through our community resource finder site. Nice.
Let's switch it over to Tonya Brown, Mission Chair, and we're talking once again about the Walk to End Alzheimer's Nashville with the Alzheimer's Association and the Tennessee chapter. So Tanya, share a little bit of your personal storyline.
Thank you. I actually got involved. It's a personal experience. My mother was diagnosed with dementia at the age of 65. During that time, we did not know where to go, where to get information. And this was before I knew about Alzheimer's Association. So once I found out about them, I saw all of the information available to the public. And that helped my family and I get the resources we need or guide us in the direction that we needed to go.
And a big part of the organization, it also focuses on advocacy. So share a little bit, when you talk about advocacy, what that means for Alzheimer's Association.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say that 1 in 3 seniors die with Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. This is killing more than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. So that lets you know how many people are affected by this. Alzheimer's disease is one of the most critical public health issues in America. This is why we are unrelentingly advocating for public policies that increase critical research funding and support for all those affected. Currently, our Alzheimer's education bill has made it through the Tennessee House committees and is awaiting on the vote on the House floor. So we're really excited about that. The Alzheimer's Education Act requires the Department of Health, Bureau of Tennessee Care, and the Commission on Aging and Disability to develop educational materials on early detection, timely diagnosis, and care planning, and disseminate it to the public health practitioners, and healthcare professionals.
I know that for those who can see you on screen, all three of you are wearing a certain color, purple, but
Yes.
Talk about that in terms of raising awareness and what the purple signifies.
Well, purple, it does signifies Alzheimer's. And this is a color that we have gone with. And this is just to open the eyes of everyone, to draw the attention of Alzheimer's and the disease that is just growing phenomenally. We love this color. And it just, like I said, it attracts attention to let people know that there's help there, and there's information available for all.
Absolutely. It's a great conversation starter. It's a great symbol, obviously, and door opener to be able to raise more awareness. And when you talk about the advocacy, being an advocate to open these doors on that side. So let's talk about this event. It's the Walk to End Alzheimer's. And so let's start, Amy, let's go back on your end and give us an overview of this event.
So the walk is actually conducted in about 600 communities across the nation. So we're super excited about that. So in Nashville, we have walks all over Tennessee area. The largest walk in Tennessee is actually based in Nashville. We are still working on getting the official location and date for the Nashville walk. We are looking at Nissan Stadium, but we're still waiting for some logistical things to come together to get an actual date. It will probably be in late September or in October. Coming up in this year. We're excited that we will have the opportunity to be doing some level of an in-person. Our walk in 2020 was all virtual. We'll still have that virtual element, but we will be having some level of in-person in 2021. And the walk really works as a main fundraiser for all of these efforts that we've been talking about: the community education, the support groups, the research, the advocacy. The walk really serves as a way to get our communities involved, in our neighborhoods and in our local areas to really support this disease. And so that is really our goal as being a part of that and really being a part of the committee that supports this walk. And so, but we will definitely be sharing more details as we get closer to that. So be on the lookout. We have many different ways people can get involved in the walk and also get aware of what we're doing. We have, Facebook groups, handles on Twitter and also Facebook and LinkedIn that people can access to keep up to date on all of the things happening here locally in Tennessee.
Well, it's one of those things where you never can talk about it early enough to make sure that people are prepared and they can take full advantage and they can build up and they can help fundraise. And so, carrying that forward, Ashley, go ahead and talk about on your end how everyone can get involved.
Okay, well, first and foremost, to get involved is get online, go to alz.org/walk, register as a walker for the Nashville location, or register as a team captain to start a team. Reach out to your family and friends, get them involved as well, because we are going to have both in-person and virtual components. It's a real opportunity to expand your team even outside of Nashville.
So you can do it as an individual, you can form a team, and obviously that's a great opportunity, whether it's your family or coworkers, but to go in as a group. Share a little bit when it comes to just the logistics. You said, go ahead and sign up online. That's an easy way. And obviously to be in the loop on the date and all the announcements, making sure to go online to follow all the progress, correct?
Yes. So once you register, obviously you're in the system. So you're going to get those updated bits of information like our incentives for fundraising. We have things throughout the year going on for our fundraisers. We have a champions club for those that reach 500 or more. So they get some exciting things rolling out. We do have, as Amy said, we have a Walk to End Alzheimer's Nashville Facebook page, which is also a great place to get information. So that's really your best start. And the great thing with starting a team is you can start your team today, but you don't have to start your fundraising today. So if you're waiting for when you think you've got dollars to put into it, don't do that. Go ahead and start your team. That way you can start your process.
And Tanya, wrap up with some fundraising tips. So when it comes to, being able to support the mission, empower the good, it takes money to do that. And so what are some ways we can help on the fundraising side for sure?
Okay, one way, I have several ways, but two of the top ones are the sphere of influence, people who you know, your family members, your church members, your neighbors, where you work. Those are perfect places to start. And you just branch out from there. A second way is through Facebook. The tools that once you sign up as a team captain, there are tools out there online to help you link things up to Facebook, whereas you can actually take donations from there.
And then Amy and Ashley both kind of mentioned it, but wrap up with where to go again. So website, social media, phone numbers, what information needs to be front and center for us to make sure that we're in the know? Where do we go?
All right, so we have web and social. It is alz.org/walk, and that will lead you to our Nashville walk. Or you can join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Alz Tennessee. That's ALZTN.
Well, Amy, Ashley, Tanya, thank you for all you do. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.